Hello, one and all. Welcome to another episode of MMA Vision Analysis. This one, I'm here to talk about Leon Edwards' coach and his recent comments in regards to that potential move up to that middleweight division and the potential Israel Adesanya fight. But before getting started, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click that notification to get all of this that is new from this channel, your channel, the one and only MMA Vision Analysis. I talked about Leon Edwards speculating the move up in weight sometime after that Bilal Muhammad fight. I find those statements kind of strange just because in the past few months we have heard a lot about the current lightweight champion moving up in weight, perhaps after his next fight, which could be against Tsaroukian, it could be against Chandler. God knows who Islam fights next, but I assume that it's going to be 1-2 fights maximum in that lightweight division for Islam, and then he's on to that welterweight division. It seems like that Leon Edwards is on high alert. With all respect to the current welterweight champion, solid fighter Leon Edwards, but I think Leon wants no part of Islam Makhachev. I spoke about this potential fight so many times, and one video that I talked about this fight specifically, I talked about the size difference or lack thereof between the two. These two are very similar in stature. I would assume that Islam pretty much has to drop little to no weight to make that 170-pound division. And I think Islam Makhachev gives Leon Edwards the toughest fight. Aside, obviously, the Bilal Muhammad fight has to unfold first in order for me to truly be behind these statements 100%. Just because I think that Bilal Muhammad fight, it's not going to be a joke for Leon Edwards, with all respect to the current welterweight champion, but that Bilal Muhammad fight is a real task. Bilal, I do understand, is perhaps not the most captivating figure on that roster in that welterweight division, but in terms of consistency and being a solid, sturdy, consistent, once again, fighter, it's definitely Bilal Muhammad. Bilal deserves respect, and I think Leon Edwards has to focus on Bilal Muhammad. I do believe in Leon Edwards' abilities. I mean, the guy took out Kamaru Usman. At some point, Kamaru was unmatched in that welterweight division. He was just breezing through guys, the likes of Kobe Covington. But unfortunately for Kamaru, he fell short to the current welterweight champion Leon Edwards. With all respect to Edwards here, but I really think that he is trying his hardest to avoid that Islam Makhachev fight. Because if you were to think about it, what does Leon Edwards have to gain from fighting Islam Makhachev? Absolutely nothing. As a matter of fact, he has a lot more to lose than to gain from a potential fight with the current lightweight champion Islam Makhachev, unless the two titles are combined, which I don't see how that's possible. If they were to fight at 170, it's going to be for the 170 belt. That 155 belt is going to have nothing to do with it. As I said, my belief, Leon is trying to avoid this fight as hard as he can. A matter of fact, I think that Leon thinks that a move up to middleweight is going to present him with more simple, straightforward opportunities, let's say for a title shot, than if he were to stay and face a guy like Makhachev. Like I said, Leon has to deal with Bilal Muhammad first. A real fight. I have belief in Leon Edwards, but I also have belief in Bilal Muhammad. I think this is going to be a close, contested fight. I could be wrong. After all, fights could be finished in an instant. And as of late, there's been a lot of speculation of Leon moving up in weight to that middleweight division. Do I think it's a smart thing for Leon Edwards to move up to that division? It's very hard to say. It's difficult for me to imagine Leon against the likes of Strickland, the likes of Dricus, the likes of Adesanya, and so on. That middleweight division is no joke. And does Leon have a shot against those guys? I don't know. I don't know. Those guys being naturally bigger guys. Yeah, Leon Edwards is like 6'2". After all, he can fill that frame nicely. But I talked about the middleweight division yesterday, I think, or the day before that. It's filled with guys that can easily fight at heavyweight. And that's, I think, been proven. If I'm not mistaken, Daniel Cormier at some point fought at middleweight. Later on went on to become the light heavyweight and heavyweight champion. The current light heavyweight champion, Alex Pereira, a former middleweight champion, obviously. And there's a potential of him moving up to heavyweight. Leon against the likes of Strickland, Dricus, I don't know. I really, really don't know. Those guys are much bigger. I think they hit harder. With no disrespect to Leon Edwards here, but I'm not sure what his coach see that I can't necessarily see. And I'm not sure about his statement. He says once Leon moves up in weight, then Adesanya will no longer be champion. Well, I would like to remind the coach here is that Adesanya is not the champion of the middleweight division. Dricus is the champion of the middleweight division. I think fighters are being overlooked. In this situation, 3 fighters are being overlooked. First of all, Islam Makhachev is just simply being ignored. Number 1, I do understand the guy still fights at the lightweight division, but he blatantly spoke about him and his interest in moving up in weight. Also, Belal Muhammad is being overlooked. It's very dangerous to overlook Belal. I guarantee you that. And also, Dricus is being overlooked. How do you mean Israel Adesanya will no longer be champion once Leon moves up in weight? He's not champion now. Dricus. Duplessis is the champion of that division right now. And we have to respect the guy and give him that respect as long as he's the title holder. I said something about the middleweight division beginning of the year. I said that title is going to exchange hands a couple times. It's already happened once, unfortunately for Strickland, and I really think it's going to happen again. And if Leon decides to move up in weight to face the champion of the division that time, let's say beginning of the year, 2025, I mean, we do have Dricus versus Adesanya, but we just can't overlook Dricus or Belal Muhammad like the way we're doing right here. It's just very, quite frankly, I kind of find it disrespectful. I do understand that Leon Edwards is not necessarily the disrespectful fighter that tries to overlook fighters. I don't necessarily view him or his team as such a kind that try to manipulate and use mind games. He's a very straightforward guy, but the fight against Belal Muhammad is not going to be such a straightforward fight. I would like to remind Leon Edwards in his camp. I really think Belal is going to fight like he has a chip on his shoulder, has something to prove. And quite frankly, he does. He's not the champion. He wants to prove that he's the best, obviously. And he wants to prove that the last time around when this fight ended, he wants to prove that it did end abruptly due to that infamous eye poke now. And I'm just super excited for the night of UFC 304. Leon versus Belal Muhammad. It's going to be a fascinating fight. I suggest that Leon Edwards and his team focus solely on Belal Muhammad right now. And I do understand their disinterest in fighting Islam Makhachev. It's a lose-lose-lose situation. How lose-lose-lose? First of all, you're fighting a lighter guy. Number one. Second of all, you're going to there's going to be a potential of you losing your title. And even if you were to beat Islam Makhachev, you're really not gaining anything. People are just going to say, okay, he beat the lighter guy, right? Number two. Number three, if you were to lose to, Islam Makhachev or Belal Muhammad, quite frankly, there is no such thing as moving up to middleweight, at least anytime soon. Because it is going to throw his whole, all of his plans, it's going to put it in turmoil. And I think Leon has to focus on Bilal Muhammad because that Bilal fight is going to be no joke for Leon Edwards. I do understand it's going to be a close contested fight. It might end abruptly. I do have belief in Leon Edwards' ability to finish fighters in that welterweight division. But he has to understand that we cannot overlook Bilal Muhammad. After Bilal Muhammad, if you were to finish Bilal in a spectacular way, okay, we can talk about that middleweight move. And when we talk about the middleweight division, we have to realize that Adesanya is not the champion currently. It is championed by a guy named Duques Duplessis. We have to put respect on that guy's name. If you made it this far, I appreciate you for sticking around. Please let me know what you think in the comments and like, subscribe for more.